folks, welcome to the Focus TV. If you guys weren't aware, while we're recording this, it's officially the start NBA season. Depending on where your fandom aligns, could be a rough night. It's a start to a rough night or an easy night. Who knows? But we're happy to be back. Obviously, we'll get into some NFC East, raising update you guys about the Wizards. Cardell was in another gym, which means we got standouts. Looking forward to sharing that with you guys as well. Quick update on the Terps, and then, rapid fire. As always, Octavia's not here, so I'm going to do my best to stay in here for her, talk about her division one time for the one time. Hopefully, I never have to do this again, and let the record hold that I did this with respect to the entire division. Despite a rough start to the season, the Giants' defense under Wink Martindale has been extremely aggressive. Wink doesn't play any games. Came over from Baltimore. He believes in death, taxes, and blitz. First down blitz, second down blitz, third down blitz, fourth down. If we out here, I'm sending them dudes again. So even though the Giants have not been successful this year, if you look going into this game, I think they were 1-4 or 1-5. They ended up coming out to a 14-7 win because of that defense. This time, their offense chipped in with 2 touchdowns. It was more than enough. Tyrod Taylor playing for the injured Daniel Jones threw both of his touchdown passes in the second quarter. And the New York defense held up, including late in the game, to earn that second win of the year. Tyrod had 279 passing yards and 2 touchdowns, while Sam Howell had 249 yards, an interception, and he was sacked 6 times. Tyrod was also sacked quite a bit. I think it was 4 times on the day. The Commanders, after a decent start, they fall into 3-4 on the year. Next week, it's a battle between the neighbors of MetLife as the Giants face the Jets. Meanwhile, there's another NFC East division game next week. We got the Eagles taking on the Commanders. On to that other game in the division. A matchup of 2 5-1 teams. The Eagles representing NFC East. Dolphins representing the AFC East. Hey, look, the Eagles with a big win. Both teams came in at 5-1. One of them left with a dub. 31-17 win for the Eagles at home. Both Alabama quarterbacks had to overcome some adversity in this one. It's both threw an interception and were sacked 3 times apiece. Jalen Hurts was 23-31 for 279 yards, 2 touchdowns, while Tua Tagovailoa was 23-32 for 216 yards and a touchdown. The Eagles were able to have more success on the ground, which I think kind of was the biggest thing in this game. When Miami's offense is rolling, they got their track stars doing what they do on the ground, getting out to the edges, throwing some misdirection and all that. The Eagles had none of that. They did not let they refused to let Miami be more than one-dimensional. You had to, they got on the board a couple times. Obviously, one of it's just Tyreek's really that fast. There was one play I'm sure folks saw where he beat a bracket coverage in a straight line. You're not supposed to do that, for folks who are aware of that. Bracket coverage means there's 2 people and there's supposed to be there's one over the top and one starts out with you. He left them both. And the only thing that stopped him was, the back of the end zone, honestly. But for the Eagles, it was a tough game. A.J. Brown, he's been acting a fool recently. He had 10 catches on 15 targets for 137 yards and 1 touchdown. Jerome Baker got the interception for Miami, and then Darius Slay picked off a pass for the Eagles. It was definitely worth the game that lived up to its billing for most of the night. Even with the result, both teams would leave this game remaining atop their respective divisions, which is a great look for each of them. So even if you're Miami, this year you've lost to Buffalo and the Eagles, both respectable opponents in their own right. For the Eagles, look, you're 6-1, you're top the NFC at the moment. You got to love it, right? You're trying to get right back to where you were last year and hopefully have a different result. As for the Cowboys, they were on a bye this week. They'll host the 3-4 Rams next week with an opportunity, kind of try to get right. They would have an opportunity to get to 5-2 next week if they beat the Rams. The Rams would have a chance to get to 4-4, which would put them in 3rd in their division. They're in their own divisional race as well. Octavia should be back next week for the NFC East segment. But Ray, like I told everybody, man, it's basketball season is officially here. As far as the NBA goes, the Wizards.
Yeah, man. They wrapped up their preseason last Friday against the Raptors. Not the best showing. Things kind of went to hell in the third quarter. The Raptors just kind of grabbed control of the game and then relinquish it. The Wizards they just got dominated on the inside. They got out rebounded 60-42. That's a concern given their size or lack thereof. We talk a lot about them needing to, basically gang rebound, and that should be a point of emphasis moving forward. They get things started for real tomorrow night against the Pacers. That's a team that is made to kind of give them some issues, and they have in the past. They got dynamic point guard play and a very active, athletic big. We talk about how those matchups present some issues for Gav. So we'll see if he's up to the task. Their last preseason game. The prior game against the Knicks, we saw the good side of Jordan Poole. Against the Raptors, kind of saw that other side. With just some erratic shooting. Didn't have the best night. He's 1 for 15. It's the preseason, but we've seen this from him before in live action. But just go ahead and get out your system now. So when things start to count, you can kind of rein that in a little bit. But I mean, just getting reps up. So it's nothing too much to worry about. But we'll see how that plays out. We consistently talk about them and their potential, but everything for them lies on the defensive end. We're going to talk about it ad nauseum. You're going to hear this from us throughout the season. What they do on that end is going to dictate how their year goes. If they're consistent and they compete, they're going to do well. If they're not, then we see how these things work out in the past. But it's been a topic of conversation for them, pretty much since training camp started. And we'll see if they're able to, live up to their end of the bargain. That's everybody has said when asked, their main thing is improving defensively. Everybody from Corey Kispert to whomever, that's been, the thing that's at the forefront, and as it should be. So we'll see, man. They'll open up against the Pacers tomorrow. Hopefully, we can start off with a win. Of course, we'll have coverage from the arena and I'll play back, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, man, yeah, I'm excited for them to get started. It's a new look team. It's going to be a lot on Kuz and Poole's shoulders. We'll see if they're able to handle it.
For sure, man. Again, opening. You got the season opener Wednesday and a home opener on Saturday. So we'll see you guys quite a few times this week if you're part of the crew that hangs with us for Playback and Wizards Outlook. So Wednesday night, Saturday night, and Monday night. Then again next Wednesday as well. So again, NBA grind is back. We're all excited. We are going to take our first break of the night. When we get back, Cardell is going to let us know who made his list of standouts this week at the Pangos East All Freshman Sophomore Camp. You're watching the Focus TV. Welcome back to the Focus TV. As promised, Cardell, the floor is yours. Look forward to seeing who made your list this week.
Yes, sir. Honor to go up to Pangos All East Freshman and Sophomore Camp. What this is, before he has the big Pangos camp out in the West Coast in California. He goes around the country, different pockets, East Coast, the South, Midwest, and the West, and invite the top prospects from high school basketball to participate. And it starts here with the freshman and sophomore camp, and you build your way up through high school. If you become one of the top players, you get to play in the big Pangos camp. And in front of NBA scouts and top college coaches and whatnot. A lot of times they already signed a seal by then, but still you get to play in front of who's who in basketball, the big time decision makers, and show what you could do. It's been around for decades. Some notable players that have played there, Russell Westbrook, DeMar DeRozan, Drew Holiday, Trae Young. You know what I mean? Tyrese Halliburton, Kay Cunningham, Kuminga, number one player in a 2026 class, AJ DeBensta, number 2 Tyron Stokes. Just who's who in basketball, from who's dominating the NBA right now, all the way to the up and coming high school kids that will be dominating the NBA in the near future, man. But this camp was for the East Coast as far as the top freshmen and sophomore standouts. One thing I could say before I get into it about Pangos and Gym Couch, the trees are coming, and they're coming in bunches, man. So guards, I hope you sharpening up your floater game, your running game. If you're an athlete, in the weight room, so when you go body, you can put them in the basket. Because it's a wave of bigs that is coming, and it's going to look like the 80s and 90s very soon. Don't believe me? Just give it time. It's going to go down. But I'm going to start with my, the first player on my list is Logan Franks, 6'10", forward center, 2026 class. He plays at Rutgers Preparatory. Highly skilled, athletic big. Not the strongest, obviously, as you may see, with the picture or whatnot, but he's super skilled, man. Has all the perimeter skills you can ask for. Can shoot it from mid-range. It's great in high post situations. Like I said, he's not quite strong enough. He goes down on a low block and tries, but he's not strong enough to hold his position. But he has a variety of moves, and obviously with his skill and touch and his length, he can still get shots over a lot of people. Lob threat as well. He can run the floor. Highly intelligent. The only thing he needs to do is just bulk up, and that's gonna come with time, man. And then just extend his range out to 3-point range, man. He has the chance to be a problem. You know what I mean? And I mean a problem as far as being one of the top players in high school basketball. Down the line, man. So I love what I saw out of him. Next up is Makai Robertson, 6'3", freshman, 2027 class out of Life Center Academy. Super explosive guard, good slasher, scorer off the bounce, very shifty. He's I wouldn't say one man fast break, but he's very hard to keep in front of you because he's so shifty. He understands angles. He can handle the ball. He keeps the ball low. He's quick, and when he gets a head full of steam, his feel for the game is beyond his years, and those are the intangible things you gotta look at, not just in all basketball players, but especially young basketball players, that still haven't reached their full potential, and that's what's scary about him. Only thing missing from his game is just being able to shoot consistently from an outside, because right now everything is off the bounce. And you know what I mean? And with good reason. He can't be stopped. So he's very hard to start. So if it ain't broke, why fix it? But eventually, guys will figure out, teams will figure out how to crowd the paint, how to crowd him, and he's going to be able to have to hit the jumper to keep him honest, man. And he's good when he gets to the basket as far as finishing and get to the free throw line, knocking down shots that way as well. So another kid to keep an eye on. Next up, one of those bigs I keep talking about, Kiner Asparilla. Apologies if I butchered their name. 7'1" center, 2026 class out of Don Bosco Prep. A legit 7-footer. Another one that runs the floor like a guard. He finishes inside and defends inside and out. He's still a bit raw, but you could see him trying to do things where in a little bit it's gonna be consistent. You know what I mean? Just the way he can bring the ball up the floor and dribble around, just dribble around centers and stuff like that. How he can facilitate out of the post. How he run protects. Even it's a play where he was dribbling up the court in and out of big, and got to the lane and almost dropped it Then one play he did that I love, he was trying to break the guy down. He lost the dribble, but he reclaimed the dribble, and he went to the block. He played within himself, went to traditional block, put his shoulder in the defender's chest a couple times, and went up and tried to dunk on him. He missed the dunk, but that's what I mean by he's still a bit raw, but you can see what he's trying to do, and he's not far from making that a consistent thing, man. But defensively, he's already there, man. He's active out on the perimeter, hedging out, switching on guards. He has no problem doing that, bigger wings, explosive wings, and obviously he'll bang in the block, in the paint, try to defend the basket, man. And he's a willing rebounder. So he got all the big man tools and the perimeter skill set that's still a bit raw, but you can see him trying to put it all together. When he does, it's going to get ugly very quickly. Next up is Tyler Sutton, 6'1" guard, another freshman, 2027 class. She goes to the George School in Pennsylvania. Two-way floor general, great defender. That's another thing I was just excited to see over the weekend was how many guards really got after it defensively. It wasn't the too cool for school stuff, man. You score, I score, we all good, get our numbers, we friends. Now, dudes was really trying to lock each other up, and Sutton was one of them, man. Super aggressive, just a super aggressive guard, man. And he's fairly explosive. You can see he's still trying to feel his way as far as growing into his body and trying to combine it with his athleticism where he can control it at all times. But he has great instincts. Even when he's beat, he's not beat. He has a great instinct as far as timing where he can reach around, knock the ball loose, or strip you, and then is off to the races, and he usually finishes things with a dunk, man. Same thing with him, which is consistent with a lot of young players. Got to get his jumper more consistent and expand his range, because as he move up through high school and he's killing kids, going off the bounce, locking them up and stuff like that, all they're going to do is adjust and just back up off of him and say, beat us with the jumper. And that's the next level for him. Once he gets that, again, he's going to be hard to stop as well. Next up is Avon Diamond, another 6'1" guard in the freshman class. He go to Polytech, Delaware. He's a tenacious defender. If I had to vote, he might be the top two or the best as far as guards defensively in the whole event. He's athletically gifted. He has long arms. His base is low. He's fundamentally sound. You can tell whoever taught him the game started with defense, because he was pressing 94 feet. And not only did he give the opposing guard hell, he gave bigs trying to set screens in the backcourt to get him off of the guard hell, because he could feel them. It was just, he wasn't even looking, but he could feel that they were close, and then he would just skinny up and get right around him. And the big was getting frustrated. He's like, yo, man, wait for me. But the guard was trying to wait for him. You know what I'm saying? But he was stuck to the guard. He was knocking the ball out of bounds in the backcourt, making dudes trip and fumble the ball and turn it over. And he was scoring at will, man. Just to see a youngster coming into high school as a freshman, impacting the game defensively like that, it was just inspiring, man, because I was starting to lose hope in the youngest, but these youngest coming up being taught well and being taught the right way, man. He got the defensive part down, man, but he can also make plays and score as well, but he kind of let the game come to him on the offensive side. But as far as defensive, that's where he starts and ends things. And then a lot of high school programs and college programs can use that, as we all know. Next up is the local product, John Vini, 6'3", 2027 class, out in Gonzaga. To me, he's a Drew Holiday clone in the sense where if you saw Drew Holiday play in high school, you know what he was, not just defensively, but as an offensive player. He was a true point guard that could score, strong, athletic, and get to the lane, but he was a pest defensively, and that's what Vini has. And Vini's the other guard that I was saying, like, where with Diamond, they kind of battling for 1 and 2 as far as the top defenders on the perimeter, as far as the guards. That was at Pangos, because dudes really couldn't even dribble around him. He has great instincts as far as, when he's reaching with purpose. It's not an out of position reach. He's knocking the ball loose, making it to the point where guys don't even want to dribble on him. And even the rare time where he's beat, he doesn't give up on the play. He follows the offensive player, and he just times it right where he has active hands, and he either gets the block or the strip damn near every time. And he prevented a lot of baskets where the big wasn't rotating or paying attention, and he would just come from behind and strip them, and then they're off to the races, getting easy layups or dunks or three-pointers. And with him, he also could shoot the ball. He had a nice little shot, baseline, baseline with a little fadeaway. He showed he could take defenders off the bounce to score. He could do a little bit of everything offensively, man. And he was a playmaker, finding bigs, getting them easy baskets as well, man. So he has the potential to be a complete guard. And obviously playing for Steve Turner and Gonzaga, he's gonna demand excellence in all phases of the game, especially defense. So he can easily, it won't be long before he's one of the top players in the WCAC. And if you're one of the top players in the WCAC, you're one of the top players in all the high school basketball. So, he has a bright future ahead. Next up is Shane Pendergrass, 6'8" forward, 2026 class out of Mount Zion Prep, super skilled big, athletic. He can score from all 3 levels, loves to shoot the ball, loves to play the point forward position. as far as, bringing the ball up, facilitating, do a little bit of everything. Good rebounder, willing defender at times. The thing with him is he got to get stronger so he can really impose his will, dominate, improve his ball handling. Because when those little guards got up under him, really pressuring him, they was making life tough for him to keep bringing the ball up and get into the spot, so get into a position where he can make a play. So that's the next evolution, getting stronger and understanding, every time you're not going to be able to just shoot guys lights out, and you ain't going to just be able to bring the ball up easy and do whatever you want to do. Sometimes you might have to give up the ball and get it back at a spot to be more effective and then go to work. But it's just little things he has to learn as he continues to grow, man. But like I said, the talent's there, the skill set's there for him to put it all together soon. Next up is Bruiser Edwards, 5'10" point guard, and freshman class. Yeah, that freshman class is special out of Georgetown Prep. He rebounded from an okay showing at Jim Couch in the freshman game, and he played well. He did his thing. He hit threes. He was facilitating, got into the lane and scoring floaters, runners, layups. But the thing that he brought that I haven't seen from him yet was his defense, man. He was another one that was a pest on the defense, man. And he was getting a lot of stops, and he was making it hard for the opposing team to get into their sets and their offense, man. And that's encouraging. Like I said, I haven't seen him play defense like that. Offensively, I know what he can do. He's a traditional point guard that can score. He showed that. But the defensive end, I'm like, if you bring that every game, that's going to take you to a whole nother level and get you where you're trying to go and elevate Georgetown Prep as well, man. So, he's well on his way. I see the maturation in his game. And the fact that he bounced back from an okay weekend at Jim Couch and brought it like that shows me, he's closer than we think to really realizing his potential. Next up is Malachi Terrell. It's my first time seeing him, 5'11" guard in the 2027 class out of Gonzaga. Talented scorer off the mound, super talented. His dribble combination is scary, man. Like it's effective, and he only hitting you with 2 or 3 moves. He's not wasting any movement, and he gets where he tries. He gets where he wants to go and where he's trying to go, and he can score. Both hands, laying it in. Runners, same thing, both hands. He has a great feel for the game where if he gets in the lane, he feels like a big might block his layup. He adjusts, shoots fadeaways. He can facilitate as well. Has to improve his jumper. That's the thing. He's a streaky shooter. Like if he's on, he's on. But if he's off, he's off. And that's the next thing. But of course, savvy, smart defender. He's totally different. Where the other guys kind of bodied you up and was physical. He kind of lets you feel like you getting your way, dribbling the ball, bringing it up the court, and then he's on you as far as pouncing on the ball, knocking the ball loose, smacking the ball when you're trying to go past him, smacking the ball in the backcourt or whatnot, and you got to try to out hustle and get the loose ball, doing little things like that frustrate you. That's his style of defense. He do the debate game with you, and he's good at it. So he's a dog, man. He don't hesitate to defend anybody. He's a willing defender. Like I said, they got 2 at Gonzaga. Like I said, they with Jim Couch, their upperclassmen with Dixon and Nick Lewis already there, holding the fort down on the varsity level. That might be the best backcourt in the DMV high school ranks as far as, the basketball is concerned. Well, they got 2 that's learning under them that might just pick up right where they left off as soon as they graduate. But that's Gonzaga, man. They always produce high-level guards, man. So he's going to do his thing, and he's already doing his thing. So I expect him to kind of, get the keys sooner than later to the team. About to finish up with a couple more players. Next up was Will Sprouse, 6'2", 2026 class out of St. Joseph Academy. Just a physically, mentally tough player, man. Strong defender, strong shooter and slasher, man. He's not somebody that'll wow you with athleticism or flashy plays. He's just a guy to get the job done, man. And then when you look up in the box score, it's not far-fetched to see he got like 20. Even though he's 6'2", he's so tough. He go in there, rebound with the bigs and with the trees. He might pull down 8 boards and then hit you with about 7 assists. That's going to be his game. And that's what he showed this weekend, man. So he's a grinded out type of player, man. But he makes it look fun and easy. You know what I mean? So it's going to be fun watching him grow. Last but not least, this is what I mean by these trees. Cole Nayab, 7'1" freshman out of Glen Elk Country School here in Maryland. versatile skill big. You know, if y'all remember Thon Maker, he's a lot like him. Shoot the three, he can dribble, pass, post up, rim protector, run the floor, guard guards, guard bigs, lob threat. Only thing lacking with him is experience and strength. That's it. He has everything else, man. It was scary, man. A couple parents like, we need to check his birth certificate. He shouldn't be playing in this game, in this camp. He should be somewhere playing in overtime elite or something like that. I'm not the person. I'm not his caretaker or you know what I'm saying, coach or anything, parent. I'm not even gonna dig into that. But for right now, where he's at, he was dominant. It's clear he was the best big there, definitely, and has the most potential out of all the bigs there. That's what I'm saying. So with him, it's just continuously getting better. I hope the Wolves don't take him out. He's already that good where he's at. Just stay where you at. Just continue to work. I'm pretty sure the Wolves are circling already, trying to get him to transfer to different schools. Come get with that coach, this trainer. You know what I'm saying? Whoever's the highest bidder. Y'all know how the game goes. I hope he stays clear of that. Keep his head straight. Handle, obviously, the academic side of things, but just stay consistent on the court, develop his weaknesses and whatnot, because if he reaches his potential, he going to be in like the Ignite program or Overtime Elite, and he going straight to the league, unless they make a rule where you can go straight to the league out of high school. He's that talented. But that's only if he can stay focused and not be disrupted by outside forces, man. So those are my standouts from the 2023 Pango All-East Frost sophomore camp.
Yeah, that got to be crazy going there to see your child and 7-1 is on the court. It's wild.
Yeah, it was a long night for some kids. It was a long
Especially if that's the first time a kid's seen that on the court. That's a heck of an adjustment.
Pretty sure.
Hell of an adjustment. But appreciate you as always for sharing a list of standouts. Like I told y'all guys before, anytime he has a list of standouts, man, go ahead, just file the names away, make it easy for yourself. You're gonna hear from most of these players in just a little bit. We're gonna take our second break. When we get back, quick update on Maryland women's basketball and get in a rapid fire. You're watching the Focus TV. Welcome back to the Focus TV. The Maryland women kicked off their season officially last week with Media Day. Get over to our local channel to get some, so you guys can listen to some sound from Media Day. They also began their exhibition schedule this past weekend. Maryland rolled to a 103-37 victory over California out of Pennsylvania. The schools in PA. Just want to make sure the parentheses is there. Riley Nelson led the way with 23 points, 7 boards, 3 assists. Bree McDaniel had 22.6 rebounds and 3 steals off the bench. Lavender Briggs added 12 points, 5 rebounds, and a block. Cheyenne Sellers, 10 points, 7 assists, and 6 rebounds. Jakia Brown-Turner made her Maryland debut, had 10 points. She wasn't the only. Obviously, Riley Nelson was making her debut. Summer Bostock, Hawa Dumbaya, Emily Fisher, Zenuako, and Mary Serene all saw minutes, all saw the floor in their debut. Alicia Harris, led California with 11 points and 1 steal. Up next for Maryland again is the exhibition portion of their schedule. The non-conference portion of the schedule is some heavy hitters. They still have those, like that home, the home and home with South Carolina and UConn. This year, it's an away year, so they got both of them in their respective buildings, amongst a couple other teams to get some early tests like Brenda likes. But they'll be facing East Carolina Sunday at noon at the Xfinity Center. Cardell, what you got for us rapid fire wise?
Yes, sir. Start on the league side of things, the NBA. It is open tonight. Found something interesting. Clipper star Paul George was critical of the hype surrounding Spurs rookie Victor Wembanyama in the wake of him being drafted with the number 1 overall pick in June's NBA draft. However, George is now backtracking a bit on his previous criticism after seeing how easy Wembanyama made things look in preseason action. Quote, I take back everything I said. George began on his show, Podcast People, Paul George, and I knew he was going to be successful in the league, but I thought it was going to be tougher than what he's making it look right now. He Euro without taking a dribble from the free throw line, flushed it. No one's stopping that. I mean, he still hasn't played the league yet, But some of the stuff he doing, dog, I mean, he threw it to the wing, called for the lob at the three-point line, knowing nobody else can go get that, dunked it. George to emphasize a point that Warriors star Draymond Green made, where worst case, Wembanyama is going to be one of the league's best shot blockers, given his length and athleticism. Quote. This goes back to Draymond's point. Worst case, he's going to be one of the best shot blockers. A lot of times I put myself in other players' shoes, like, all right, what would I have done right there? And a lot of those possessions, like, damn, when I get to the paint, like, I'm going to have to look. Like, he's contesting. Like, I might beat my guy, and he's going to get pulled in. I might think he's way on the three-point line, but like his wingspan, he's still covering me. It's going to be different. We're going to start with you, Ray. What are your thoughts on Mr. George backtracking his statements on Mr. Wembanyama? Copping a plea.
It just leads me to believe that he didn't watch him play before. Because, I mean, what you think was going to happen? Like, he's a freak of nature, man. Like, so it's just typical people talking about things that they haven't bothered to research. At least, at the very least, he came out and said, all right, well, maybe I was a little harsh and wrong there. So, I mean, kudos to that, but maybe you just shouldn't have said anything to begin with if you didn't really know what was going on. And then, like, I just don't get the climate of today with people just being contrary for no reason. Like, it's obvious this dude was going to be special, man. Like, that was very obvious to anybody that watched him play. Yeah, we're in an era where things get over sensationalized and stuff like that. But I mean, I'm not surprised at what he did in preseason, and nobody else should be either. We'll see how the season goes. Of course, there's going to be a learning curve. He's going to have to adjust. Like, I don't even think he realizes the impact he can have yet himself. So, once he learns the league, it's going to be scary. But yeah, I just didn't understand people, automatically saying he's not going to be good or what have you. Just like, and again, it came from a lot of people that never saw him play 1 second of basketball. So, you take that with a grain of salt. But yeah, and also, I want people to think about moments like this when they start that. If you didn't play in the league, you can't talk about basketball stuff, because playing in the NBA don't automatically make you knowledgeable. You still gotta do the work. So yeah, man, I just need this to be a lesson to everyone, just to ease up a little bit and maybe gather information before you decide to speak on the subject.
Wilson.
Yeah, man, cop that plea quick. It's October 24th. So, doing a little investigative research, he's 5 days away from seeing that up close and personal. It probably hits you a little quicker when it's far away. I don't, like Ray said, it's kind of crazy because maybe you really just somehow avoided like him going viral. He goes viral almost every time he plays. So, like, this is coming off of, did he like wreck the game in that preseason game against the Warriors in that first quarter? Like, even if you weren't watching, nobody around you, what's dude's name on his podcast, Jackie, whatever, none of them showed you anything.
My man from ETL.
Man, just nobody showed you anything. My fault, but nobody showed their phone to you. You came in the next day to record the pod. Hey, you 5 days away from you going into one of them really nice combos and him not caring. So, again, I'll be tuned in October 29th. I just want to see what it looks like, to see what your take is after you experience it live. But yeah, that's just laughable, man. And this is why some of y'all just don't need podcasts, especially during the season. Because we would have never knew that you thought that if you could have just let this go quietly.
Well, one thing, I'm going to start with this. The block he had on my man Andrew Wiggins from three-point range. It wasn't like it was just leaving his hand, he got it. he got that month at the top of the arc, bro. That's inhuman, bro. That's and he came from the paint to do that. He was blocking Wiggins fadeaways. Like even before that, they played OKC. Jalen Williams crossed the shit out of him. Man, still recover block that joint at the rim. I don't think people understand what's coming, and the only thing that will stop him is injury, which I'm praying he doesn't get injured so he can reach his full potential, because it's going to be fun seeing him change the league back to how it should be, where big's going you're gonna have to be a big and deal with that. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing. The other thing is the arrogance of ball players sometimes is just baffling. It's just like all the teams I play. Coach can tell us on the scout report, this guy's that good. He averaging this, that. We got to really watch him. And then we walking on the court, they be like, man, that dude trash. I ain't worried about him. I just shake my head. And then when this dude torching us, it's crickets. That dude ain't nowhere to be found. Ain't nothing to say. I'm like, it's just no reason. There's no way in hell you can have, and that's what I equate to with Paul George's statements is just arrogance and ego. With the hype, they just hating him in that moment or whatever because he got the spotlight on him. There's no way in hell you can see that and not understand what's coming and how special of a talent it is. Like, it's just no way. To me, that helps your preparation to give somebody the proper respect that is due because of how hard they work or whatever God bless them with to have that. You see what I'm saying? And even with that, God bless him with his size and athleticism and length, no doubt. But he still worked his ass off to become that skilled with it, which has made him special already as the number one player. Now, he's going to have growing pains. You know what I'm saying? I'm still eager to see when somebody really physically hitting them and banging with them to see how he takes that. But we all know if he gets close because of that, it's over. Like I was at Jim Couch. Thomas Bryant, he's an alum. He's basically one of Jim Couch, as far as basketball play, one of his kids for real. He got in the paint and dunked on that boy left hand off the vertical, and Thomas Bryant was looking at him, and he just looked at the bench like, what the fuck? Like, he was just like, what the fuck was that? Like, and he looked at the Heat bench, and that's just one of them Jones as a coach. You just like, hey, man, shit. I don't even know what to say on that. It's you just got to understand, you got to give him his proper respect to play as well as you need to play to beat him. Coming in there with that arrogance is going to be bad for you. So, look, Paul George going to get his crack at him, and we're going to see. We're going to see real quick, man. So, that was just silly to me. Moving forward. Brad Beal. The Suns striking a deal to acquire Bradley Beal from the Wizards was the most talked about trade of all season prior to the blockbuster Damian Lillard deal just a couple weeks ago. This will Beal opened up about how the trade came together in detail when the Suns emerged as a dark horse after his initial desire to land with the Heat, which and skates Mark J. Spears detailed. Beal then laid out how the deal with the Suns came about and cited that Miami was dragging their feet before saying they couldn't do a deal, while the Bucks were very close as well. Quote, so out of nowhere I get a call and it's Matt, Israel, and Phoenix. I'm like, y'all about to trade Book? How's that going to happen? How's that going to work? That didn't even cross my mind of going to Phoenix. And sure enough, they just kept pressing, and I'm nudging my agent. Bill said, I'm like, okay, what's Miami doing? Dragging their feet. Eventually it came to a point to where Miami said they just can't do it. But it was an eye opener for sure. And that's why I said I went into everything kind of open-minded and with an open slate. And out of nowhere comes the dark horse in Phoenix, and the aggressiveness pushed me over the top. Milwaukee was very close in the running as well, but they were going to make some moves that I didn't necessarily like in the trade to Mr. Wilson. Thoughts on Brad Beal and the whole trade scenario?
Sometimes for all people in life, sometimes, it
Oh,
comes
not to
at you.
cut you off. My question, I saw it, and the main question is, if you were running the Heat, would you have dragged your feet on the trading for Bill too?
Yeah, it's Pat Riley. You know how he go down. If he about to pay you, you got to be one of them. That's just what Pat believes in. He'll pay you. He'll do it. But you got to be one of those guys. And yeah, them dragging his feet. Yeah, like lead dog. I think that's a nice way to say. You have to be the lead, like a lead dog. Like everyone hits the wagon to you. Let's go. And that's just what that is. If Pat's going to drag his feet, doesn't mean you bad or anything like that. You're just not what he deems a lead dog, and that's what it is. And then, mind you, even like just kind of like the in terms of like life coming at you fast, like when he said, and it gets me every time. He's like, "What it means y'all about to trade Book?" They're not moving Book. They weren't like, yeah, they're acquiring you, but they were never going to move Book to acquire you. Again, just living in that place, like. They view Book as one of the lead dogs over there. They're not moving. Like, it looks like everybody that was interested in his services, it's lead dog money, but you know what I'm saying? They're not getting exactly what they paid for in terms of lead dog. Like, Phoenix is paying you lead dog money, but they're comfortable asking you to be the third guy. Like, they're comfortable with it. Everybody else wasn't as aggressive to do that because of what they are like. Roster construction is a thing in sports. I know people think stuff is like video games. You're not gonna move guys who you've deemed that guy in your building to make a move like that. And also, like if it was the Bucks, think about what the Bucks, like how many people left the building when they got Dame, right? Say if that was Brad, like that meant there was gonna be less talent on the Bucks if they did trade for you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's part of it too. So when he's saying I don't necessarily would have liked the corresponding moves, yeah, because everything would have set off something different. Whereas Phoenix was the only team out of those that group where one, they were fine paying. Ishbia doesn't care. Two, they're fine paying you lead dog money, and I ask you to be a lead dog. And then three, what they needed was they needed depth. They weren't, you know what I'm saying? There was just a different place roster wise than everybody else was. But yeah, it's just one of those things, man. It's a little different. But yeah, the whole if I'm going to Phoenix, where they moving Book thing was always funny to me. Like, nah, that's never on the table, sir. They just probably if it was moving Book, just they would have dragged their feet too. You know what I'm saying? So
gotcha. Right.
Yeah, Miami dished out 2 of those reality checks this summer. But yeah, in regards to Bill, like, yeah, dude, it's time to just accept who you are. And like Wilson said, you're just not that lead guy, and that's why Phoenix made the move that they did. And yeah, and because you're not that guy, they weren't going to move Book to get you in. And to be perfectly honest, I don't think he would have wanted to absorb the responsibility of replacing Book, because we saw how that went when he had the opportunity here. No disrespect to him, but for a guy in his position, I mean, he didn't meet the mark. I mean, it is what it is, man. But hopefully he has a lot of success there. That should be a good spot for him. Being the third option with his talent and abilities, that should give him, a space to do well. But yeah, like if Pat Riley's not an indecisive guy, if he wants you, he's going to get you. So that is what it is. But as far as the other teams, and talking about they were making some moves that I didn't like. I mean, I don't think you're in a position to dictate anything, my guy. You should be happy that you are in a place that was willing to give you the money that you got. So, I mean, what have you, man? I wish him well in Phoenix. I hope he's able to stay healthy and maximize the potential there. But yeah, that Miami thing, and what was going to be expected of him there, I think he should be happy where he ended up.
Yeah, it's a bit delusional from what I'm hearing. Especially that part where he's like, I ain't like the moves you can be made. It's like, come on, man. Like, he had control because he could have been like, nah, I'm not going there. He had a play option the Wizards gave him. Like, you could say he can pretty much dictate where he ends up, where he want to end up. But my man, they're gonna do what's best for the team. Ain't nobody you're not that you're not LeBron and stuff where they check in with you like what roster move you. You know, it ain't like that. You know, and honestly, look at the track record of the Wizards. When you was the man, and we know they was consulting you with different things, it ain't go too well. So that shouldn't be the case. Like I said, man, Miami a different beast, man. They ain't got time for the excuses. You banged up and all. You go play. You got to play. You got to do what's necessary. You got to adhere to their rules. And yeah, what we know him to be, look, talented player, we know that. But there's other questions about him as far as, you know, how deep are you willing to dig within yourself to do what's necessary to win, game in and game out. That's what Pat Riley's all about. Not just now with the Heat. You can go all the way back to his Knicks days. He had a bunch of dogs that would damn near die on the court before they let you beat them. You know, Showtime, the Flash and Magic, and no looking and all that stuff, that clouds what they were about. Dogs. That's why they were practicing. They were doing 3-hour practices in the finals and stuff, and they got like 4 or 5 rings. You know what I'm saying? That's why a lot of guys' careers ain't last long, but they had a lot of success, so you can't knock it. I just don't think Pat Riley looking at it like, look, we're not about to blow up our core after just getting to the finals to get this dude. Just not gonna happen. So we can get him for something like some future assets, maybe one player, fine. But we got to gut the whole team. Like you asking for Bam and Tyler Hero and a first round pick or something like that. Yeah, hang the phone up. What we doing here? You know what I'm saying? For one, players got to be real with themselves. It ain't just about the individual numbers. Let me look at that win-loss record. My man, you can't even lead your team to the playoffs. So why am I going to gut my franchise for you? So, you know, that's just the reality of what it is. So, yeah, Phoenix was the best option because you can go there. Hell of a third option. Don't even get it twisted. It's a hell of a third option. But we all know if that thing don't go right, the Heat going to fall on KD's shoulders and book. So, and to say you're safe, you ain't got much pressure unless you just trash. You know what I'm saying? You just 0 for or something like that. But if you do your thing, but y'all don't get through, they're going to look at them too. And you get to just play free. So that speaks to what it is. You know what I mean? And if you can't get it done with this team, what does that really say moving forward? It further proves why certain teams ain't got their franchise for you. So it is what it is. Moving forward, this should be a fun one because of our media, you know, careers and what we talk about all the time. Defending NBA champions Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets play host to, obviously they're playing right now to LeBron James and the Lakers in the first game of the league's opening doubleheader on Tuesday night at Ball Arena. However, despite the Nuggets raising their championship banner and their players enjoying the prestigious ring ceremony, the club's best player received a shocking snub by TNT. Jokic, the 2-time NBA MVP, was oddly left off the graphic used to promote the NBA's opening night doubleheader slate, which featured LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, and Jason Tatum. The exclusion prompted Charles Barkley to apologize to the Nuggets and their fans for the egregious decision while appearing on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5 FM on Tuesday. Quote, you sent me that graphic and I showed it to Ernie, and we just want to apologize to the Nuggets, joking the city of Denver. Barkley said, that's completely stupid not having Jokic on that graphic. I mean, we're here all day. Right. So many ways to go with this. For one, thoughts on them having Tatum, who's not even playing tonight, on the graphic instead of Jokic. And what does it say about the state of media just constantly blowing the most simple of jobs?
Yeah, man, like this, you had to try to mess this up. There's 2 games tonight. Just put one matchup for one game and one matchup for the other game. How does Tatum even come into the picture? Like, I just don't understand. Like, I saw it, and that was my first thing. Like, Boston not even playing. Like, why is the team not playing on opening night on the opening night graphic? But you know, anything for promo, man. But yeah, we've been talking about how the state of media is in a hellhole for a while. whatever decision prompted this graphic to be made this way, I just don't understand it. Yeah, man, you got the defending champion, reigning Finals MVP, two-time league MVP, and you just decide to completely not acknowledge that they plan on opening night against one of the premier franchises in the league. And those two teams have been linked since the Western Conference Finals last year. This is one of those things that should probably cost somebody their job. Like, very simple mistake. Like, you had to go out of your way to do this. I just don't understand, like, how of all people you landed on Tatum. Like, but hey, man, that ain't my area. Good luck to whoever pressed send on that, and hopefully that will cause people to pay more attention moving forward.
Wilson.
It's a fireable offense. Right, you had one job. There's like 15 people on the roster. You could have chosen a coach. You could have put the logo up there. Like, there's options. Like, seriously, they're the freaking champs. They're the champs. Like, honestly, you should just beat them on a graphic and call it a day. Like, what are we doing? It's, again, like, but when you consider the current date and time of what's happening in this industry, I get it. I'm not shocked, but it's just stupid. It's asinine. There's no reason for that, man. Dude barely missed out on winning 3 straight MVPs. What are we doing? If we can go, it's year 20, year 21, every 10 seconds, you should be able to go NBA champion. Put them on a freaking graphic. It's not that hard, y'all.
Yeah, for me, it also shows the international bias, so the international players dominating. I saw a former NBA player who I was fond of. They was talking about Luka not being the best player on the Dallas Mavericks, over Kyrie. And it's just further proving Ray's point about being a former player, and then they supposed to be the end all be all with the knowledge thing. It's just, nah, man, y'all say too much stupid stuff. That narrative has died a long time ago. But back to this, it's just disrespectful. It's one of the things in media that irks my soul, and there's nothing wrong with having these 4 on the graphic if they were all playing tonight. That's the thing. Boston Celtics not even playing. What are you promoting with him? With Tatum? Get Jokic on there. Hell, even if it was Jamal Murray, you might have been able to slide. Like, I don't know. I would have put Jokic, but elite, whatever. It's disrespectful. It was purposeful, and multiple people need to get fired because I'm pretty sure it had to get approved through different layers of whatever TNT before it got to the boys on the screen, and even then, like, before it got to Barkley and all that, because I know they would have saw it early, like, where's Jokic? They would have said it right off the top. Like, y'all gotta stop this, man. Like, it's just very, this is on the heels of another former player NBA banking the narrative all last season that he got an MVP because of some racist type voting and stuff like that, some bias towards from white media and all that, trying to make him the MVP. To the point, my man literally toned it down just so Embiid can win that joint. Then he turned it back up in the playoffs and won the ring anyway. And it was clear he did that just to kill the noise, which shows how great he is. Like, I'm going to chill and then fuck the league up and get the ring. You see what I'm saying? He did all that. I'm just so tired of the bias, man. Like, dog, just call it how it is. Just call it. It's not that hard, man. Who's hooping? Who's winning? Who's dominating? They should always be in the graphic. It's not that hard. You know what I'm saying? And not saying Tatum ain't dominating, but he ain't won yet. All those other brothers on there have won. They're playing tonight. It just makes sense. It's not that hard. And they need to stop. And this is the thing. This looked like a young graphic designer that did this, that just young and the fan, I'm going to put Tatum on there. This is what happened when you let the fandom get in there instead of just being objective and doing your job. Hell, you could have put Jokic on there wearing a Tatum jersey. No one would care. No one knows who you are. You know what I'm saying? It's just ridiculous, man. So it speaks to where we are with a lot of media, the simping, the ass kissing, and the fandom. You're not even supposed to be a fan. You're supposed to call the game like it is. That's the general rule. So, but look, all they're gonna do is motivate that big dude, and he's just gonna continue to kill. So they can keep sliding all they want. They're gonna piss him off, and it's gonna be bad. So it is what it is. It's on you, Wilson.
All right, man. Yeah, that's sad. I had to go find it when you brought it up. I was like, let me go find the actual graphic. I saw it the other day. I shook my head. I think it was one of the moments where I just like, let me close the app. I can't. I don't have the energy for y'all today. But again, we appreciate y'all tuning in this week. Don't forget every Wednesday morning, as early as 9:30 a.m. On a Roku television device. All you have to do is type in the Focus TV in the search box, double tap OK, and you've added the channel. Great way every week to keep up with what we have to discuss. We look forward to catching up with y'all next week. Don't forget, on the Wizards side of things, we'll be talking to y'all on Wizards Outlook very, very, very soon. Like for some of y'all, when y'all see this in the morning, we'll see y'all later this evening. Like that type of time is here now that the NBA season has begun. For Cardell Ray and myself, y'all have a great week.